Welcome back, Senior Devs. Sean Cannon here. In this lesson, we're going to talk about developing your gut instinct. One of the coolest things that comes from experience is being presented with a problem and having an almost supernatural feeling about it, like you know the answer before even hearing the full context. One example I used earlier is when we get CORS errors. Often a bug ticket will mention a CORS error on a page, and the action item will be updating the CORS rule, but most of the time my gut tells me that the error has nothing to do with CORS at all. To give you some context if you're not a web developer, CORS stands for Cross-Site Resource Sharing, and is essentially a rule set that you set up on your server when exposing an API that basically says, I only want my API to work for domains that match XYZ, or I only want my API to accept these headers, and so on. These rules are sent to the browser in pre-flight requests called option calls. Basically, each API call from the front end is preceded by a separate options call to fetch the initial headers. One of the headers is called allow origin, and if the client origin doesn't match the value in the allow origin header, then the browser throws a CORS error, which basically prevents the website from making the subsequent API call. Well, that error is triggered either by an allow origin header mismatch, or if the header is missing completely. If the pre-flight request never makes it to the API endpoint, then it'll never receive the header, and the browser will think we're simply blocking it with a CORS rule. Most of the time, this is not intentional, and it's a typo in the route or Nginx is misconfigured or something. My gut tells me it has nothing to do with CORS because we hardly ever do anything with CORS. The people who create the bug tickets don't know that. They see the error, they log it in the ticket, and they assume the course of remedy is to fix the CORS rule, which 99% of the time is an incorrect assumption. The more you grow and learn from your experiences and mistakes, and the deeper the experience imprint is left on you, the faster you'll be able to recall all of your experience and leverage your subconscious mind to search through it all in real time as problems are being described to you. The nice thing about being able to develop a gut instinct is that you don't have to make grand claims and hope you're right. You simply need to bring up your gut feeling as something you'd like to rule out before doing a deep dive into the problem. These days, I'll do this a lot with bug tickets where we need to fix it fast, and it takes some experience and senior mindset to find and identify the bug, and then the actual work can most likely be assigned out to any of the devs on the team. I don't need to actually fix the bug to be able to receive credit for finding the bug. I often use my gut when doing comparative analysis for tools and services that the client is considering. Being able to read a few snippets on the main page of a library and gauge whether or not it feels like a dependable library or a waste of time is a huge value. I'll also use my gut instinct with new hire candidates. A quick look at a GitHub profile and a few snippets can tell me all I need to know to decide if the dev is going to solve problems or create problems. Building a gut takes time, and learning to trust it takes even more time, so I recommend starting today. Lastly, never go against your gut instinct. Your gut instinct is your subconscious mind trying to tell your superconscious mind something important. The information just isn't loaded into your conscious yet. Always bet on yourself. If you're not comfortable putting your gut feeling out there, you're welcome to keep it to yourself, but just remember your initial gut instinct isn't something you have to commit to. It's just the first thing you want to rule out. If you're right, you look really good, and if you're wrong, who cares? It's part of the troubleshooting effort. Your homework for this module, before starting any work on a bug, I want you to quickly write down what you think the possible cause is. Write down 2 or 3 possibilities if the bug is vague. The more you do this, the more you're going to start guessing correctly before doing any investigation. That wraps up this module. Keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.